End it. Fuck you. How about that? Yo. Yeah. Cave
Nam Talu Cave.
diving.
On
Cave diving. That's what we're reacting to. We're reacting to cave diving incidents.
Swiss nationals, a 10-year-old boy from Germany, and a teenage girl from the UK.
10? You're 10 years old cave diving? I feel
As
like
well
there
as
should be an
two
age
Thai
limit
guides.
on this.
The cave is known for its
There
scenic
should be an age
passages
limit on
filled with
this.
shallow water. Stable. No rain had fallen in the area that morning, and
No, dude.
but this tour took place in the middle of Thailand's rainy season.
In the middle of the rainy season, dude.
The group entered the cave.
Why are you
after
doing it?
The weather at the entrance was stable.
I'm sorry.
No rain had fallen in the area that morning,
Sorry.
and conditions seemed safe. However,
Okay.
rainfall had occurred further upstream in the nearby mountains, where the cave's watershed begins. Because
Shouldn't
Namtalu-
they know that, though? Shouldn't they already know that that's happening? Like that, oh, that's connected because these caves were explored before because there are guides for this. Gotta go to sleep. I just came here to troll you. All right, Google Bro. All right, Google Bro. Appreciate that, though. Appreciate you for popping out, though. You the man. You the man. Have a good one. Have a good one. Have a good night, bro.
As part of a complex drainage system, it is highly sensitive to upstream flooding. As the group made their way
That's
through the cave,
so.
they followed a stream passage that grew deeper. The guides noticed that the water level was slowly rising, but they continued deeper. Minutes later, a flash flood surged through the tunnel. The water rose quickly and flooded the narrow sections of the cave. Panic broke out. One of the guides instructed the group to climb a slope toward higher ground. Some managed to reach safer areas. Others were caught in the current.
Oh,
Within
man.
minutes, leaving no airspace in sections. The narrow passageway gave the group no room to escape. 8 of the 9 people inside the cave drowned. Only the British teenager survived by climbing onto a narrow ledge above the water.
And there was a 10-year-old kid there, too? Oh, man, bro. Oh.
She waited there for more than 16 hours before being rescued by a search team. The other tourists and both Thai guides were found dead. Among the victims was the 10-year-old boy from Germany.
That's
The
so
incident
sad.
drew national attention. Authorities
That
closed
is
the
so
cave and
sad.
later issued a seasonal closure order. From June to
I should make the cam smaller. You actually, or are you just trolling? Is that good enough? I don't really know what it looks like. Here, let me. Bro, no, you're trolling now. No, you're actually trolling. We're done. I'm done. All right, so like this small and that far. Yeah, that perfect? Is that perfect? Shut the fuck up. I'm not listening to you. I'm not listening to you. No, dude. No. Ads. No. No. I'm not keeping it like that. Dude, that is just no. I'll keep it there. I'll keep it like this. We'll keep it like that. How about that? We'll keep it like that. All right?
November
All right.
each year, the cave would remain off limits due to the risk of flash flooding. Signs were installed at the entrance to warn visitors.
Good.
Local tour
Good.
companies were instructed not to conduct
Good.
tours during this time. For more than a decade, the seasonal closure was respected, but enforcement was inconsistent. Some tour operators quietly resumed cave tours during the rainy months if surface weather conditions seemed safe.
That's so stupid. They already experienced, bro. 8 people died. 8 people died in that cave. And because they thought that the weather was clear. Why? Like,
In many cases, the risk was underestimated. On August 6, 2024, another group entered the Nam Talu cave
8 people only. That is a lot of people. Make it.
despite the official closure. The group included 22 tourists and 2 Thai guides. The weather at the time appeared normal.
22?
It had rained the previous evening, but the skies were clear that morning. The group began their tour in the afternoon.
You just said 22. You just said 20, and he just said there's 22 people.
Tourists and
Watch 20. Dude, if 20 people die, that's actually going to be a crazy prediction.
It had rained the previous evening, but the skies were clear that morning. The group began their tour in the afternoon. At around 5 p.m., while the group was exiting the cave, a flash flood struck.
Oh my
Water
God.
from upstream had reached the cave system and rushed through the narrow tunnel. The
It's
force
already
of the water
happened
trapped
before.
the
They
group
shouldn't have
at
done
sea.
this.
Thai rescue teams were dispatched quickly. They were able to extract the tourists and one of the guides. However, the second guide, a 37-year-old man, was swept away by the current. His body was found several hours later. He had been helping
You didn't
others
predict
escape
it,
when
but
the
you were
flood
close.
overwhelmed him. An investigation followed. The
You were
Park Service
close.
confirmed that the cave had been closed at the time. The tour company responsible had violated the seasonal closure policy. Legal action was taken against the operator for negligence. After the 2024 incident, park officials strengthened safety measures. Despite these efforts, concerns remain. Some local operators continue to minimize the risks. In a region where tourism is a major source of income, there is pressure to keep popular attractions open. Visitors unfamiliar with the cave's history may not understand the danger. The Nam Talu cave disasters are among the most avoidable cave deaths in recent memory. Schroeder's Pants Cave. On
That
February
is so true. That is so true. They already saw that it killed like 8 people.
13th,
They should have just stayed away.
1965, 3 members of the Boston Grotto Club arrived in the small town of Dolgeville, New York. Their goal was to explore a cave in the foothills of the Adirondacks, known as Schroeder's Pants Cave. The group included 23-year-old James Mitchell, a chemist from Massachusetts, nurse Hetty Miller, and Harvard graduate student Charles Bennett. Before entering the cave, Mitchell visited George Lyon, a local man who, together with Herb Schroeder, had discovered the cave in 1947. Lyon provided them with background information on the layout of the cave, but no one warned them about the conditions inside. Temperatures had hovered around freezing earlier that week, leading to increased runoff. Ice-cold water was now pouring through the cave's passageways. Despite this, the 3 cavers...
No problem, dude. No, I'm just playing around. I'm playing around. All right. All right, let's go back to it.
a bell-shaped
Let's go back.
gun barrel until
Right,
they reached an
gun
open
barrel.
chamber with
Gun
a vertical
barrel.
shaft
That's
that dropped roughly 80 feet or about 24 meters into a bell-shaped cavern below. Mitchell was the first to attempt the descent. He clipped into his safety lines and began lowering himself down, but something went wrong. He stopped partway down and appeared to be in trouble. According to Miller, Mitchell attempted to descend further, then tried to climb back up the rope. He was unable to make progress in either direction. He was being hit directly by the water flowing down
Oh
the shaft.
my god.
Rescue reports estimated that about 10 gallons or
I-
38 liters of freezing
I'm not
water
gonna
were
respond to what
landing
you
on
just
his
said.
head every minute. The cold quickly became a serious factor. Mitchell's strength began to fade. His voice became weaker. Eventually, he stopped speaking altogether. Bennett and Miller tried to pull him up. They spent 45 minutes struggling with the rope, but couldn't lift him out. Realizing the situation was beyond what they could manage, Bennett exited the cave to find help. A newly formed cave rescue team, the National Capital Grotto Rescue Squad, flew in from Washington, D.C. on Air Force Two. The operation quickly made national headlines. Among the 6 young rescuers
They
was Doug
flew
Bradford.
in?
None of them had experience with an actual cave rescue, but they had trained for similar situations. They made their way into the cave and reached the shaft. Their first attempt was to pull Mitchell up by the rope, but it was immediately clear that he was no longer alive.
Oh,
Bradford later explained that Mitchell's
bro.
body was limp, and that they quickly understood it would now be a recovery effort. The team worked on widening parts of the cave. They spent 3 days trying to make space to bring the body out.
Jesus.
But during one of their rigging attempts, part of the shaft collapsed. Dirt and debris began falling down into the cave. It was no longer safe to continue. With Mitchell's body still suspended by his harness, the cave was sealed.
That's
Explosives
awful.
were used to close the main entrance. Large rocks were placed over the collapse, and a memorial headstone was installed near the site. Pierre Saint Martin Cave.
That's so messed up. Yo, but they did go in there when it was freezing cold water pouring in there. It is his fault. I forgot to full screen it. I'm sorry. That was just so dumb. That was so dumb.
In August 1952, an international caving expedition began descending into the Pierre Saint Martin cave system, located in the Pyrenees along the border of France and Spain. At the time, it was considered the deepest
Think
known
before
cave in the
acting.
world.
That's exactly what it is, though. Thinking before you do something. If the cave says Death Cave, like this cave, like there's a big sign out front. This cave has claimed hundreds of lives. Caution. Don't explore it. Are we like really? Cave diving is serious. I get people enjoy it, but dude, too many people die doing it, dude. Yeah, let's just explore gut-wrenching, tongue-splitting, head-crushing cavern. It'll be fun, guys! Guys, it'll be fun. It's for the adventure. Just shut up.
Among the team was Marcel Lubin, a 33-year-old French engineer and experienced cave explorer. He served as the second in command of the expedition, which was led by Belgian Professor Cossens. The team had spent nearly a week underground, setting up rope ladders, exploring new passages, and mapping vertical shafts deep inside the
That's
mountain.
insane.
On Wednesday, August 27th, after 6 days underground, Lubins was being hauled up through a vertical shaft as part of the ascent out of the cave. He was suspended by a steel cable attached to a winch system. But just
Oh
as he was
no, I know
being
where this
lifted
is
up the
going.
final
Oh, it's
stretch,
gonna
the
snap.
cable snapped.
Oh!
130 feet or almost 40 meters
130 feet?
straight down a rock slope into the shaft. He survived the fall, but the impact left him severely injured with a broken back. He lost consciousness shortly after hitting the ground and fell into a coma.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
He was
Oh.
now lying 1,260 feet or 384 meters below the surface, inside one of the deepest parts of the cave system. Despite the immense difficulty, a rescue
1,260 feet. That's like, oh my god. That's 200 feet taller than the Eiffel Tower. Think about that. Sometimes it's better to avoid getting household abused by your woman like she's the man by thinking before mouth blabbering. That is true. The best relationship advice I've ever gotten, it's always the third thing, the third option. Whenever you're speaking to your girlfriend, your wife, it's always the third thing that you think that you want to say. It's never the first thing. Never the second thing. It's always the third thing. She's like, "Oh, can you do the dishes?" Will never happen to me, by the way. All right, you don't know. He don't know. You just don't know. You just don't know. You just don't get it. It's all right. It's all right. You just don't know my personal life. You get it. It's okay. It's okay. I won't reveal. We'll keep it. Keep it
operation
under
was
wraps.
launched. Team members climbed down rope ladders to reach him. A doctor descended into the cave to assess his condition, working by headlamp and candlelight in the cold, damp chamber where Lubins lay
Weeb.
unconscious. Despite the
Gang.
risks, a blood transfusion was performed in the cave.
No, I
An
promised I would
extraordinary
never
attempt at
bring that on
underground
the
medicine.
stream.
The rescue teams stabilized him as best they could. Over the next 2 days, they attempted to hoist him slowly back toward the surface using a manual winch system, but the shaft was narrow and conditions
Imagine the winch snaps again. Oh my god.
dangerous. As the rescue progressed, rocks began to loosen inside the shaft. Falling debris now posed a danger not just to Lubins, but also to the cavers working below. On the evening of August 29th, after nearly 36 hours of rescue efforts, Marcel Lubins died underground.
That's
The
awful.
Jord Brugrada cave.
How was that the most avoidable? I mean, I guess it's the most avoidable by not going. Ruining the cinema. Shut up, bro.
Tragedy.
I'm reacting, man. You can go watch the YouTube video yourself. The most avoidable cave deaths ever by Simple Paint. You can go watch it yourself if you don't want to watch me react
On
to it.
February 6th, 2014, 5 experienced
I'm
Finnish
too
cave
lazy.
divers prepared to enter one of
Finnish. Wait. You know who's Finnish? I think Gugabo. Gugabo's Finnish. Ain't that crazy? Yeah. He's Finnish and he's not here right now.
the most dangerous underwater cave systems in Europe.
Shut up.
Grada, also known as Jord Brugrada, located in northern Norway. Their goal was ambitious: dive through a 420 feet or 130 meter deep submerged passage, reach the other side of the mountain, and surface in a distant dry cave chamber. It was a journey that required precision, discipline, and perfect coordination. Each diver carried a closed circuit rebreather, a high-tech breathing system that recycles air to allow deep dives for extended periods.
Yeah. My dog don't want to come up. I bet they drowned due to something stupid. I mean, it's called most avoidable cave deaths ever. So I gotta assume like they did something like, the one guy is like, "Oh, I don't want to do this anymore," and started kicking and flailing and killed all of them. Like that's what I'm guessing. But
periods. The group was well prepared,
I don't know.
but this cave had claimed lives before. The tunnels were
That's
narrow,
what I'm
the
saying.
water near freezing, and the depth pushed the limits of human
Oh
endurance.
my god.
At first, everything went smoothly. The divers followed a fixed guideline that led through the submerged passages. They moved in a staggered formation, each managing their own buoyancy and trim in total darkness. After navigating through tight restrictions, they reached the deepest part of the route, where visibility dropped and the tunnels grew more unstable. Then, something went wrong. Around 360 feet or 110 meters deep, one diver, Jari, got stuck. It was in a narrow restriction between two rock walls, a point in the cave where movement
God
was tight
damn.
even in perfect conditions. He
Fuck.
became wedged, unable to go forward or back, and his rebreather began malfunctioning. In moments like this, panic is fatal. Another diver, Patrick, tried to help, but the tunnel was too narrow for both of them to maneuver. Visibility was dropping fast, and the water temperature was just above freezing. Silt from the cave floor filled the tunnel, and now both men were blind. Jari's breathing became frantic, and soon his mouthpiece slipped out.
Damn.
Patrick tried desperately to hold onto him, to insert the backup regulator, to free his partner's arm, but the effort failed. He had to make a choice. Stay and die with him, or leave and find help. He left. Back at the surface, the remaining divers began to realize something was wrong.
Shit.
2 men were missing. Emergency services were contacted, and within hours, the Norwegian police closed the cave. The bodies, they said, were unreachable, but the team didn't accept that. A few weeks later,
The other guy died too? The other guy died?
A team of Finnish
Damn.
divers, including close friends of the deceased, returned to the cave against official orders. Over the course of 100 hours, they penetrated the deadly system again, this
Holy
time
shit.
solely for recovery. They worked in total silence, inching their way through the tunnel, navigating the same restrictions that had claimed their friends. When they reached the spot where Jari had died, they found his body still suspended in the narrow passage. His rebreather was flooded, his arms still in the same position as when he had last tried to escape. Behind him, deeper in the cave, they found Diver 2, believed to be Kai, who had died while attempting to reach or help Jari. His equipment was
That's
mostly
awful.
intact, but he had run out of breathable gas long before help could have arrived.
Damn.
After carefully securing the bodies and extracting them through some of the tightest passages in the
Damn.
system, the team
Do you
brought
think
their
they'll
friends
die?
home. It was one
Nah,
of the
they
most
survived.
difficult recovery dives in history, documented in the 2016 film Diving into the Unknown. If you enjoyed this video,
Wow! Bro. They could have only had 2 losses, but they decided to rematch literal nature. See, that is the thing. That's what I explained before. See, like, if you are stuck, if one of my best friends is stuck in, like, a cave and somewhere, first off, I wouldn't be in a cave. If there's a life or death scenario, no, you know what? I'll put myself in the scenario. If I was stuck and it was either me and my best friend die together and while he's trying to save me, or he leaves and survives, I'd rather just say go survive. Don't join me. Don't join me. Go live your life. That's just my way of putting it. That's what's my way of putting it. But all right. Hey. That was a great video. I like it. I liked it. I messed with it. Definitely more of those. Definitely more of those in the future.